Hello everyone, my name's Aaron Enzer and I'm the owner of ACE Pyro. Wanted to do another show and tell today of a variety of our rails. We started out originally building what's called our standard rail. This rail was built quite some time ago and we put multiple connectors on because when we first started using this, modules were very expensive. This was even before we had Starfire. You can connect a module into one of the connectors, and then on the side connectors you can use long cables and connect to other rails. So for example, if you have a front and you want 3 positions of cakes, you could run a module into the center rail, and then you could go left and right with cables and be able to put additional rails, and then shoot 3 cakes all at the same time using a single module. Then we came up with a smaller rail. We wanted something a little smaller, a little easier to transport, so we came up with our mini rail. It was also more cost effective. So this rail is $149, this rail is $99, so we're under the $100 threshold for a 32Q rail. More recently, one of our customers says, you know, I really like binding post type terminals better than the speaker terminals. So we created what we're calling the quick rail. The quick rail is actually using the quick clips from Australia. It's a stainless steel binding post terminal. Very popular for people that want something other than your standard speaker terminal. This particular binding post is very, very durable. It's stainless steel, so you're going to have, should never ever have a corrosion issue. And, for people that like this type of terminal, it's great. These terminals do cost a little bit more than the speaker terminals. So this rail, again, comes in at a $149 price point. Some people like their rails covered and protected. Now what we do is we usually mount these on the side of a rack, or what we end up doing is we end up putting like a piece of plywood or something to cover them up if they're sitting on the ground to protect them. But sometimes people like rails that have built-in protection. So this rail is actually manufactured in Australia. It's also a product of Quick Clips or Quick Fire. This one actually allows you to put the module right inside. So now your module's protected. Once you get all your your E-matches connected, you can simply close the lid and everything's nicely covered and protected. This one costs $165. One of the reasons that the mini rail is so popular is because it's very easy to take to large chutes. So for example, I'm going to slide these rails over and I'm going to show you a tote that's got just under 1,000 Qs worth of rails in it. So here's our tote. There's close to 1,000 Qs. It's actually 30 rails, so there's 960 Qs in here, and you have it all in one tote along with the associated cables. Very few other rail systems allow one person to carry around 1,000 Qs on a chute site. One of the things that I really like about our new rail that has quick clips on it is that when you have a binding post style connector, they do very well by grabbing a hold of the wire if you pull up on them. But at the end of the show, when you have lots of E-match to disconnect, if you pull down on them, they come right out. At ACE Pyro, we mount the rails on the side of our racks. This also saves a lot of bending over to the ground. So I'm going to demonstrate the way that we normally mount the rails. We'll normally mount either the mini rail or the standard rail right near the top of the rack. To do so, we take some screws and we will put 2 screws into the rack. We'll simply set the rail on top of it. And then we'll put 2 screws just above the rail. And we'll just clamp the rail a little bit. And then we'll tighten up the bottom screws. And now the rail is firmly attached. When we go to attach the E-match, what we're going to do to make sure that we don't have any pulled wires at all, we're going to tie the E-match wires off in 2 different locations. We have holes in all of the muzzles of the guns, so we will tie the E-match off there, but we're also going to give it a secondary tie point. by having two different locations where we actually tie in the E-match, we have found that we have typically less than 1 out of 1,000 E-matches that ever have a wire pulled, preventing it from firing during the show. So now, taking an E-match, we would simply, of course, have this attached to a shell. We would lower the shell down the mortar, and then we'll tie off the E-match first to the mortar. Then we will just wrap once or twice around a screw, and then we attach the E-match into the rail. Then with the excess wire, we just, making everything nice and neat, just wind it up, tuck it up there, and when you're all done, you'll have a nice, neat wiring to your rail. Another reason that we like the ACE Pyro rail is now your rail is on the side of the rack. So it's nice and high, you don't have to bend over the whole time when you're hooking the E-matches to it. But yet, with your cable, your module is safe. It's lower to the ground. If something were to happen and something were to catch on fire, now your module is safely away and protected a little bit further away from the fireworks than your rail. So the expensive part is safe, and the less expensive part is closer to all the action. All rails have different advantages and disadvantages. Each one really comes down to personal preference. And because we have lots of different customers that have different ways of shooting, we wanted to provide you with lots of different alternatives to what your favorite rail can be. Definitely the mini rail, based on price point, is our most popular. That one sells more than all the others combined. But we wanted to make sure that we had something for everybody. My name's Aaron Enzer. I'm the owner of ACE Pyro. All of these products are available at acepyro.com. Don't forget to click like on these videos, and we appreciate you watching. Thank you very much.